Alright, today let's look at proteins. Proteins are another group of macromolecules. These in particular consist of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. They're monomers called amino acid. The word amino actually means nitrogen. So anytime you see amino or amine or amide, it refers to the presence of nitrogen. There are 20 different naturally occurring amino acids. Each amino acid, anytime you see AA, mean amino acid, each amino acid has three major parts. An amino group, which hopefully you can figure out that it would be the one that contains the nitrogen, since amino means nitrogen. A carboxyl group, which the carbo might be referring to a carbon, and that oxy might be referring to oxygen. The carboxyl group is these four. It's COOH. So anytime you see COOH, it's a carboxyl. NH2, so you have one nitrogen and two hydrogens. That is an amino group. And the third is the R group. Now, all 20 amino acids have this amino group and the carboxyl group, and all 20 amino acids have an R group, but they each have a different R group. This is what changes from one amino acid to the other. Okay. Now, the polymer for proteins is called the polypeptide. And let's look at where it gets this name. The bond that holds amino acids together, the bond that would be right here, is called a peptide bond. So when you have just one peptide bond and now you have two amino acids bonded to one another, that is called a dipeptide. Remember that di means two. If we have many bonds, and this can just continue, if we have many bonds, poly means many, you have a polypeptide. Keep in mind that anytime you see that root peptide, it means protein. Anytime you see peptide, it means protein. Now, the cool thing about proteins is that their function is the most diverse. It has a huge variety of function. One of them is hormones. So when we're talking about hormones, teenagers, they have this influx of hormones. It's actually very specific types of proteins. Regulatory proteins. These are things that help maintain homeostasis. Remember, that's one of the characteristics of life. We want to maintain internal body conditions, and it's regulatory proteins that help us do that. Antibodies, part of immunity. So if you get sick or if you get an injury or a cut somewhere, you have proteins in your body that will help heal you and help protect you from future infections. Building tissue. This is a big one. We all know that when somebody says, oh, I want to put on some muscle, they're trying to build muscle tissue. And everyone says, oh, you have to eat protein in order to do that. Structure is another one. Your hair and your nails are actually made of primarily proteins, just so you know. Enzymes. We're going to have a whole other video after this one on enzymes. Enzymes are very special types of proteins that help speed up reactions. So it actually helps us with any reaction actually that has to take place in our bodies, but it helps speed it up so that our bodies can be more efficient. Now, here are some examples of proteins. Insulin, you've heard of insulin. Diabetics need insulin. Actually, all people, we all need insulin. It's just that diabetics may not produce enough or not the right kind, so they might need a supplemental insulin shot. Hemoglobin is a blood protein. That hemo refers to blood, and this is actually the protein that helps carry oxygen and carbon dioxide in the bloodstream. So we're going to finish this video off very quickly, and then we can look at enzymes.